and welcome to the Filipino Shopping Network. And today we have our vendor spotlight. We're featuring Teofilo Coffee here with us today. So Ron basically has a message for you viewers out there that could potentially be a benefit to you. So Ron, can you tell us about Teofilo Coffee?
Yeah, so Teofilo Coffee started in 2017, so it's been about 7 years since the inception of the company. Yeah,
it's been 7 years.
Yeah.
So basically, and you've managed to overcome the pandemic. You survived and overcome the pandemic, yeah. Which is, having a brick and mortar place during a pandemic is a big deal. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we did in earlier parts of the business allowed us to, I guess, get ready for whatever was coming, right? So I think it taught us a lot, right? It taught us a lot. It's a very good learning lesson, I think.
And you're still around, and you're still here.
Yeah, we're still here.
Exactly, yeah. Right? So tell us how did Teofilo Coffee got started?
Yeah, so essentially in 2017, there was just quite a few things going on, but I think the most what really came out of it through that was a discussion that me and my mom had, and it was just brief discussion, and it was just a trigger word when she said coffee's from Philippines, and I don't know, I felt like something when she said that, like something that pulled me towards it, and that from then on it just kind of fell down the rabbit hole and led me to where we are right now. Mm-hmm. So I think it was like kind of a blessing in disguise.
And the name Teofilo, how did that started? Where did that came from?
Yeah, so that's actually my grandfather's name. And actually the ideas that I had, the first part was actually Underground Coffee Club. And I just didn't have a sense of, thinking about like why I'm doing this, right? So Teofilo made more sense. But
also your grandfather was an inspiration to you.
Absolutely. He's the only grandfather I got to grow up and see and kind of watch how people treated him, walking in the neighborhood, very respectful. So, that's kind of what we harness here. So,
what started Teofilo? What's the mission? Why coffee? Why Teofilo Coffee? What's your mission?
Yeah, so the mission is actually to give back to the Philippines, right? And I know it sounds kind of a broad way to look at it, but essentially when my mom said that thing about coffee, once I started finding out the history and how long we've been in coffee since the 1740s, it like I said, it just pulled me in that kind of like a magnetic feeling of like, this is something that we can harness, this specialty that we have, and it comes from our people, right? And I think it's always been in me something that I wanted to like give back, but there was the things that I did weren't like, oh, that's like something good, but this one is, because historically we've been in coffee for 284 years.
Right.
So
how many, I know there's a lot of Filipinos that love to drink coffee, but there's not a whole lot of vendors. There are coffee shops for Filipino coffee shops, Filipino American coffee shops, right? Would you say?
Yeah, I would say there's a handful of coffee shops that are specializing in coffees from the Philippines.
Right.
But I think maybe how they're looking at it is maybe one, right? Where we're looking at it as like a whole, like big picture. How do we help, the farmers, right? Like, and when we think about, we're thinking about the whole island. Like, why are we just looking at one thing when, if our specialty is 4 different species that are cultivated in the Philippines, it's like, let's expand that, right? So then we can, one, kind of move the scales of percentages of coffee and on what we're putting out there in the world. So we're just trying to balance the scales, right?
Right. So tell me, what makes Teofilo Coffee different from the other Filipino American coffee shops? What is your specialty? Where are your coffee beans coming from, and so on?
Yeah, so primarily the coffee beans are coming from from the top of the islands, the Baguio and Benguet region, and the Sultan Kudarat, like Davao region. And we're not just looking at, like I said, a single bean. We're looking at the 4 species that are cultivated, right? Arabicas, Robustas, Excelsas, and Libericas. So that's the difference. That's one of the differences, but it's also the organizations that we work with in the Philippines and here in the United States. We work with the Philippine Embassy to push this mission forward and to kind of have a one voice for Filipino coffee ambassadors. And we're looking, continually looking for ambassadors to support it. And we are supporting them, like these cafes, some of these restaurants and bakeries as well too.
Right.
So
now you have a mission, you have a goal, and you wanted to share with the viewers your business investment opportunity, and at the same time giving back to the community, helping a lot of people and all that. Can you tell us a little bit about your business investment opportunity?
Sure. So yeah, the business opportunity that we put in front of the community is we're actually teamed up with Honeycomb Credit, which is a platform that handles a lot of the third party, like taking in the funds, setting up the media and a page, an offering page, so that investors could come and see what we're doing, and also shows the percentage of where the funds are going to be split. So the reason why we did this is because we have our second location, right, in Long Beach. We just recently signed that in earlier this month. So that's why we're doing this campaign, so we could get some of this launching funds out there where, we're not spending all the capital build out. So that's where this money is going towards, is partially for the build out, and then some divided into more of the supply, like the beans from the farms.
So let me stop you right there. Now we were circling back to what you mentioned about the investors that are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Their money is not going to go into Teofilo's checking account.
No,
it's going to go to Honeycomb Credit. And that's where it's going to sit, accumulate interest until how long?
So right on the first quarter. So for example, if the campaign closes today, in 2 months, they'll get their first quarterly payment. And then every payment after that will be quarterly.
Right.
For 3 years.
Right. So for example, an investor put in, what is your minimum amount to invest?
So the minimum amount is $100.
Okay. So if they put in $100, and how long before they see an interest or a dividend from that?
2 months after this campaign closes. So
Okay.
they get, I think,
When does that campaign closes?
August 13th, 9 p.m. So
Okay.
a couple more days.
Cut me off.
Yeah.
That's why we got to do this video
That's
real
right.
quick, right?
Yeah.
So the viewers know, the investors know that there's no money going into Teofilo Coffee, but it's going to go to
Towards the build-out.
Honeycomb.
Yeah.
And you mentioned beforehand, when we spoke before, you mentioned that there's going to be like a 60-40 split. The 60 going to go into maybe the operation, and the other for inventory, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So you're right about the 60-40 split of what the funds will be used for, but that's also on the offering page, and this is where Honeycomb Credit has been valuable in showing the transparency of where it's going. So
Honeycomb is kind of like acting like I know they're a bank, but also acting like an escrow.
That's correct.
The money is going to and sit there until you're ready to use the funds to
So yeah, they're very instrumental, and that's why we teamed up with them, because we're like a company that likes to think outside the box, right? When it comes to doing things, like obviously the equipment that we use is very special. Also, the beans are very specific to where we come from. So it's the same thing. Like, we could have essentially gone with like a GoFundMe or some of these things that other people have done. But the difference with that is that investors actually get a return on investment. Though it might be small, like it's still a return, right? You get actually more than what you put in. And
And
in 3 years.
you also get what you put in. I mean, you put in $100, you're going to make not as much. But if you put in $1,000, then you're really talking about, you know.
And I would say, like, even though if you think about it in a way, you're still getting a return, and you're also, your hand is in the pot, right? Like, you're part of the community building a company that, you know, you're part of. You know, not many companies allow that, but we're allowing people to, you know, to actually be involved. And, you know, as of recent, you know, we've done a couple events already at the current location. So it's, you know, that's how we've been since the beginning of this location in Los Alamitos. It's just being open to the community and also inspiring other businesses to, like, actually do something with it.
Right. So you're basically encouraging the investors to be part of your business, get your a return on investment, return on your investment, and basically, you know, make some money. And you don't have to manage the business. You don't have to run the business.
I'll do all the work.
You're gonna be silent, silent investors, right? So let me ask you this: how else are you reaching out to people to bring in an investment?
I mean, obviously Instagram. We use Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, our YouTube page, our website. I think any platform. And we recently started sharing on Instagram Live, like, with some, like, investors that have invested, and asking them, like, in front of, you know, Instagram Live, like, why did you invest, right? Like, just trying to show that, you know, these are people that I don't know, like, they're not, like, close, but they've been really close to us about, like, what we've been doing in the community.
Right. And we're back. This is Paul Mirador with the Filipino Shopping Network, and today we are featuring our vendor Teofilo Coffee. Ron Dizon is basically the proprietor, owner of the Teofilo Coffee. And so, Ron, we were talking about the business investment opportunity, right? So you mentioned that you're on social media, you're trying to reach out to potential investors and so on. What's your cap?
So, well, our goal was actually set for 120,000.
Right.
But if we meet the halfway point, then that means it's going to get vested, right? So the good and bad part about it is that, if we don't meet it, the investors will get their money back. Okay,
so that's very important to note that even if you put your money into it right now, and you didn't make your goal, you get your money back.
And the downside is that, you know, if we don't meet it, then you don't get your money that you potentially could have made, right? So that's the other side of it. But I think there's also a good part of me that at least we raised the awareness up for what we're doing, supporting the farmers, making sure that, you know, they have an outlet, and we've created that lane for them here. So
So quick question. I know some of the viewers are asking, why not GoFundMe?
I wanted to try something different. Like I mentioned before, I just don't see that there's, like, one way to do it. I see that there's options to do stuff, and Honeycomb came in at the right time as, you know, we were signing the lease to Long Beach. I wanted to try something different. I didn't want to go maybe the other traditional routes, like, you know, asking big banks, small banks, all these banks, which I've done. I thought about doing, like, a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter, but like I said, I felt that they were more community driven with Honeycomb Credit. Like, a lot of the people that I saw that had either made it or didn't, I was like, oh, those are people like me, right? So, and I wanted to try something different, right? Like, something that we are, like, how our company is. We're so far off that scale that, you know, why not give it a try?
What's your last message to the viewers about your mission, about this goal here?
Let's think about it in a sense of paying it forward to those farmers. Like, all the hard work that they do, I want to do the same. We can all do the same by, making that effort to push this agenda out and create that awareness for them, because this is their livelihood, and I want to change that for them.
So you want to make a difference, and you want to basically be there to support them, because who else is going to do it, right? I mean, might as well get you started going with that. And where can our viewers find Teofilo Coffee? Where can they order coffee from you if they're out of state or out of the city? Where can they find Teofilo Coffee?
So yes, and we do sell it on Filipino Shopping Network as well, but we also have our website at teofilocoffeecompany.com, and we ship 50 states and also internationally. And this is also not just buying roasted beans, but we also wholesale, which our second company that was formed during this, which is a Filipino Coffee Manufacturing Inc. And that's the company that will do the wholesale importing and also manufacturing of the beans and liquids that we create as well too. And you can also go to the physical shop here in Los Alamitos, and hopefully by the end of the year, the target is for Long Beach to be opened up, and our pop-up location in San Francisco as well too.
There you go, folks. We got big goals, big dreams, and with your help, we can make it happen. And Teofilo, Ron, thank you so much. Appreciate you being on this program and being a vendor with the Filipino Shopping Network. And I just wanted to say and appeal to you guys that, especially if you're a Filipino American, and we're here in California, we're here in Los Angeles, right? And we have a coffee shop here that's making big deals. Basically, we got, we're trying to help people in the Philippines as well, helping those indigenous people who are farming the coffee beans, and that they're not always farming, because when the typhoon hits, everything stops, right? If it's not seasonal, everything stops. So we're trying to do as much as we can to help them, and by supporting and providing jobs for them, getting them farmed, getting them bags, ship the coffee beans, and basically it's a win-win situation for everybody. So I hope you understand where we're coming from, where Ron is coming from, that we all need to do this together, and if we all help each other, we can make it. And thank you all for watching. This is Paul Mirador with the Filipino Shopping Network, and we'll see you soon again, and thanks to this man right here. See you then.
Thank you.
Bye for now.